Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Dr. Bob. This is where you ask me, Dr. Bob Gabbay, the Chief Scientific and Medical Officer at the American Diabetes Association, all of your questions about diabetes. And for those of you that have been tuning in regularly, we do this monthly. We typically will pick a theme. And so this theme is, guess what? The holiday season and thinking about diabetes in the holiday season. Uh, if you enjoy this show, tell your friends and family, and feel free to follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn, where I'll post other interesting things, hopefully, that are helpful to have you live a healthier life with diabetes. So, let me get started with questions. And so first question is, how can someone manage their blood sugar, or as we like to say, blood glucose levels um, during holiday meals and gatherings? And that's going to be a broad question that I'll answer in a lot of different ways, but I'll start at a really high level. And that's, two things. One, monitoring, right? And monitoring your glucose so you know where you're at, whether that is finger stick blood glucose measurement or continuous glucose monitor. So one is monitoring, and two is activity. Activity is the counterbalance to maybe the fact that you might eat a bit more during the holidays, because many of us will be tempted by lots of things, and we'll talk about that. So the next question is, what are some tips for staying physically active during the holiday seasons? First, I'll say it is really helpful for you to be, if anything, more physically active during the holidays, just because you're likely to take in more uh, things eating than normal. We all do that. That's part of the fun of the holidays. And again, you can counter that by picking up your exercise to compensate. So, simple thing is going for a walk, and this can even be when you're at a holiday event, taking a little break and going for a walk. It might be a chance for you to spend a little special time with one of the people at the family event and have a conversation. But in general, walking is pretty accessible for people, and that's a great place to start. Uh, if you're in good shape, walking briskly, there's a new study that just came out, and you can find more details on LinkedIn where I posted this, where walking faster is actually even more beneficial for people. So, walking in any way is good. If you're up for walking faster, even better. Other tips to stay physically active is, if walking is not your thing, or maybe your place where it's not so safe or easy to do so, there are all sorts of exercise videos of things you can do at home for free on YouTube. Um, Look for whatever's the right thing for you, and just move. Um, the last thing I'll say is, it can sometimes be good. Two things I will say is, one, try to set a goal, like over the holidays I'm going to exercise 3 times a week or 5 times a week, whatever that might be. So you sort of put in your mind what you might do, and then think if you could do it with a friend or loved one, someone that's sort of your buddy, and then you help keep each other engaged. Someday you may not be as excited, but the other person says, "Hey, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go." Other days you might be the person telling them, "Hey, come on, we said we'd do it 3 times a week. Let's go for it." So finding a partner can be really great. Okay, next question. Moving right along. Diabetes in the holidays. What should someone do if they feel overwhelmed or anxious about managing their diabetes during the holidays? First of all, let me say this is really common. The holidays are stressful for everybody. As much as they can be a joyous event, it is often very stressful, and sometimes family can be part of that stress. So stress and the holidays, for better or worse, often go together. And then there are added stresses when people have diabetes. And so, you know, think about what helps you recharge. What do you do that brings you joy? Try to add a bit of that extra during the holidays. It might be watching a movie, whatever that might be. Uh, listening to music. I like listening to music. That's a great way for me to decompress. Do something that you find joy from. That's one. Connecting with friends, the people you know in your life that when you talk to them, you just tend to feel better. Think about who those people are. Hopefully, you have someone in your life that's like that, and this might be a time to sort of connect with them a bit more. And then finally, if things get overwhelming, get help, get medical help as you need. And there's all sorts of ways to do that. Your healthcare professional is one of those. Uh, when in dire straits, call 911 and they'll send somebody over to help you. So, lots of ways to manage the stress depending on how overwhelmed you are with the holidays. Next question. Are there strategies for handling peer pressure that ask you to indulge in unhealthy food or drink? I don't know about you, but I've certainly had that. What? Go ahead, have it's the holidays. Eat more cookies, have another drink. Uh, People may be doing this in a nice way, um, and you know what's right for you. So sometimes we can feel peer pressure. First thing is let the sort of you should go in on one ear and come out the other because people will sometimes ask you to overindulge, but also, people meaning to be helpful will say, "Oh, you have diabetes. Are you sure you should be doing that?" Well, they're not, don't let them be the sugar police. You know your own body, you know what you're doing. Uh, Let them say what they say. Thanks for your concern. I'm good right now. It can go either way, either overindulging or telling you what you shouldn't be doing. Um, and be kind to yourself. This can get stressful, and sometimes, particularly in gatherings, it may get a little much, and maybe this is like a little timeout. Go out for a walk, collect yourself, and come back in. Sometimes that's what we have to do when things get a little crazy. Okay, next question. Should medications or insulin dosages be adjusted during the holiday season? Yes, in all likelihood, that may be necessary. And this is where monitoring is your friend. So, whether you're doing checking your blood glucose by finger sticks or with a continuous glucose monitor, look at where you're at and make adjustments based on that. It's a time where monitoring is even more important than usual because what you do is likely to be a little bit different during the holidays. So monitor and make adjustments and talk to your healthcare professional about what you might do. It may be that if you're taking insulin, you may need additional insulin when you're eating more carbohydrates, and they can guide you on how to do that. Next one is this is a good general question, and I like this one. How can someone stay on track with their diabetes while still enjoying the festivities? And I like how they said that because you do want to enjoy the holidays. This is a special time and you should enjoy it. It's not about denying yourself everything. So, this is where you can sort of match food with physical activity. So think of physical activity as the antidote for the extra food that you might eat. So if you're gonna overindulge, and everybody does, it's okay now and then, just occasionally, special occasion, but that's a good time to add a little exercise in. Whether that exercise is after you've eaten and going for a walk is a wonderful way to sort of counteract the effects of food. So, you know, really think of one in connection to the other. If you're going to eat extra, try to exercise extra. And that's a simple formula that you can use. We got a couple more things here. Um, so the next one is So, some specific considerations around holiday travel and going through different time zones, for example. So, many of us will be traveling over the holidays, and how do you manage that with diabetes? Couple of things to suggest. One, make sure you have your medicines and monitoring what you need to manage your diabetes with you. Don't don't put them in your check-in bags. Keep it with you, so you always have it with you. So that's one thing to always keep in mind. Uh, for those people that are changing time zones and are using insulin pumps, um, it's often a good idea as soon as you get on the plane to just change the time on your pump. So your mind and you're already thinking of your new destination and get into that mode. Um, and then think about, in terms of when you're traveling, your access to food can be different. If you can bring some food for a long plane flight or a long car ride, that is food that is a little bit healthier. Yeah, plan for that because often on the road, the foods that are available are often not the healthiest choices. So that's another consideration. So here somebody asks, are there any sort of alternate meal to options or substitutions to consider when planning holiday meals? So let's say you're having people come over and what can you do? Well, I think in general, think more about vegetables. That's the simplest message. And when you think about vegetables, preparing them more simply. uh, you know, a little bit of oil and spices as opposed to the casserole. Casserole often has all sorts of stuff in it that is often not as healthy. If someone's offering that to you, you could taste a little bit of it, but go to the simpler vegetables. That's a great choice. Uh, think about a fruit dessert, and the fruit can be arranged in cool ways. There are ways of cutting food into decorative ways. That could be a fun way to serve fruit in a way that is enticing to people and gives people an alternative. And similarly with veggie platters, um, raw vegetables are a great thing to eat. They help to fill you up with something that's maybe a little healthier than what you might eat otherwise. And they can also be arranged and decorated in different fun ways for the holidays as well. So uh, I've shared a number of tips here for the holidays. Uh, think about monitoring more, think about exercise, counterbalancing food, uh, think about managing your stress during this. Don't let the too much advice get to you. Let it go one ear, out the other. Uh, reach out and do things that recharge your batteries. Think about ways that you can exercise and maybe having a companion, a partner to do that exercise so you keep each other accountable. A bunch of good tips about what to do around the holidays. And most importantly, enjoy the holidays. This is a special time. It's important to take time, enjoy your friends and family and your loved ones, and just have a great time and be grateful for the gifts that you do have. So uh, I will see you next month, which will be next year, and we're going to shake up Ask Dr. Bob for 2024. So stay tuned. We're going to do some new things that are going to be fun. Uh, tell people about the program if you found it helpful, and follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook where you can get more tips. And have a wonderful holiday and a happy new year.